Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana, and I am here with our weekly Casing Tuesday card. And if you're not familiar with Casing Tuesday, it is just casing stands for copy and share everything. And we took that premise um, for card making and we turned it into basically a card makeover day. So we pick a card that is a sample card out of a catalog, and we all use that card, excuse me, as a blueprint for making a new card. So we just give it a makeover basically. And so that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to wait for a few of you to pop on in the meantime. It's also my Instacart order day. I know you're very excited about that. I am. Anyway, and today our landscapers came, and we rent a house, and landscaping is part of the package. And they after weeks of not having anything done because everything was kind of shut down here, today Massachusetts has kind of started its first phased in for some people to come back to work. And so our grass, which was, I don't know, I think at least a foot tall, is now cut, and it looks very nice. So, and they pulled our weeds. And I tell you, like, we did our own landscaping for years and years and years and years because, we wanted to save money. And now that it's part of our rental agreement, I just like really, really appreciate someone else doing it for me, because we really don't have a choice. So I'm going to appreciate it, right? So yeah, it's looking good, and now we're going to make a card. So, welcome to everyone who's joined me this morning, Karen and Amy and Sarah. And I know there's some others of you. I can only see people if you leave me a comment. So, if I don't say hi to you and you're here, you could say hi on my sidebar and I'll say hi. Um, Sarah says she just pulled weeds this morning. If you have gloves on and you're in the mood, weed pulling can be very satisfying. But I tell you, this yard is fairly large, and I am so happy to have someone do it for me. So happy. Good morning, Teresa. All right, I'm going to share with you the card for today. And here it is, popping over. Hello, Janine. Okay, so this is our card for today, and look at those beautiful tulips. And I thought to myself, you know what? I think I'm going to do a tulip card too. I don't often do that. I don't often use the same stamp set as the original card because I want to challenge myself. But I haven't used my tulip stamp set enough, and I just like, yeah, I'm going to use her today. And it's just beautiful. So I love this layout too. It's good for a big floral or some sort of big image. Or you could use paper, which would work really well. So let me unmask that. So here is the layout, so to speak. So we've got our base card, which is always 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then we have two layers that are both 3 1/4 by 4 5/8. So you don't necessarily have to do that little tiny layer in the background. You can maybe just barely see it peeking out with the black in the background. You don't have to add that layer. I did. It just adds a little something to the card. And then there's a little tiny greeting layer that's around 1 1/2 by 1/2 inch. Now these are just guideline measurements. You do not need to follow these measurements exactly. You can tweak them a little bit. You can move things around a little bit. It is a makeover challenge, so it doesn't have to be exact. So those are there for a guideline. And if you go down below in the description of this video, you will see links back to our Facebook group, and you can be a member there. If you're not already, just ask to join and I'll approve you. But there I have those same images I just shared with you. They're over there on our Facebook group. So don't worry about having to copy down anything or trying to create a sketch for yourself right there. You can just go over to the group and grab them when you're ready, and you can join us. You can absolutely join us. And if you don't want to post a card today, that's fine. But we're very friendly, so please post a card if you wish. And if you are don't want to post a card and you're still like to be involved, you can post and say nice things about other people's cards, because that's always really appreciated. And if you're really, really shy, you can just lurk in the background and just watch everything that's going on. And eventually, I hope you will join in, because it's always more fun when you join in on something. Okay, so are you ready? Let me just have a look and see before I switch over to my other camera and I ignore my comments over on the side. Sarah says she wasn't expecting to weed, but she took out the trash and saw a few and thought she'd grab them. Yeah, I do that too. Sometimes when I see something, I'll do it, and then I'll get sidetracked, and then I'll forget what I was supposed to be doing. Yeah, that's not good. And I don't think you can hear my landscapers in the background, the mowing that's going on, but I apologize if it is loud. That is not in my control. Okay, hello, Kathy. Okay, bopping over to my card. Okay, here's my card. I think it turned out really pretty. In fact, and I hate to do this, but I like my card better than the original, and maybe that's the way it should be, because I said this morning on my my post on the Facebook group, I said I Brendified it, and I kind of feel like I did, like I made it my own. I chose colors that made me happy. I really love tulips as a flower, so this just made me happy. I chose 3 different colors for my tulips because I thought that always looks pretty. Oh, and I used new paper. This paper is not available yet, but it will be in just a week. So let me just grab it. This paper is called In Good Taste. What I love about this paper is it's got a lot of different patterns. So this is a partial sheet that I used, but look at, it's all about the textiles like bricks, marbles, wood, tiles. And so they're very neutral. Most of them are neutral. This one's a little bit busy, but they're very neutral backdrops. And I really appreciate those types of backdrops because sometimes you don't want your card to compete, your focal point image to compete with paper. You know, sometimes you want your stamped image to be the focal point, and so it's really hard if you've got really busy paper. So these are just really beautiful, pretty backdrop patterns that you can use on your cards. So it's called In Good Taste, and it will be available starting June 3rd. So that's just a little sneak peek. I think that's the only new product that I used today. So what else do I need to say? Oh, Timeless Tulips is a bundle, and you can, when you buy them together, you can save 10%. I did not actually use the punch on this card, but I think I'm going to use it on the sample I make today, just to show you what you could have done. Because afterwards, after I'd stamped my card, I remembered, oh, I could have used the punch on this card. So I totally blew that. But I do like the way the card turned out. But I just wanted you to know that this stamp set does have a matching punch, because it would be better if you like the punch to get it together. So what else can I tell you? I think I'm ready to stamp. So I'm going to start off with a piece of Whisper White cardstock. And this piece measures 3.5 by 4 3/4 inches. I'm going to start off with my biggest tulip head, and I'm going to use crushed curry because it's kind of a deep, dark yellow. Tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to stamp this about 1/2 inch from the top and about 1/2 inch from the right side, like that. That's the only crushed curry I'm going to use, so I'm going to set it aside. Then I'm moving on to Gorgeous Grape, a nice, beautiful, true purple. And I'm just going to come in and I'm going to go just below. So this tulip has a bit of a curve right here. I'm going to fit this in just, it's probably about 1/4 inch maybe away from the crushed curry one. So I'm just kind of working my way down. It's easier with this stamp set if you do the heads of the tulips first. And then I'm going to come in with Melon Mumbo and grab my smallest tulip head. Tap, tap, tap. And then I'm just going to put this down just about 3/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch. So they're kind of just coming down like that. You can see on my original card how I'm just kind of bringing them down. All right, now I'm going to need a scrap piece of paper. I always keep little pieces of paper. I don't know if I've told you guys this, but so I have a little stack here of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 scrap paper. And I cut this up when my paper stack gets low, but I always keep them here for designing purposes. So before I stamp on cardstock and I have a card idea, I kind of lay it out on here first. And usually what I do is I just stamp everything in one color. And I don't even necessarily use layers, but I might just kind of stamp my layout of how I want things on this piece, just so I can get an idea, does that look good? Does that not look good? So I always have extra pieces of that sitting there. Oh, just a little aside. Okay, on to the regularly scheduled program. Granny Apple Green is my next color. And I'm using, there's 2 stems in the Timeless Tulips Stamp Set. One that's fairly straight and one that's got a bend. I'm using the straighter one for all 3. And so I'm just going to tap, tap, tap on here. We'll start off with this tall one. I'm just going to match it up centered like that. Isn't that pretty? You know, 2-step stamping was one of the things that drew me to stamping in the first place, because it's just so fun and easy. So I've got the 2 tulips that I want with straight stems. And then I am kind of following the pattern that the original card had, but I tweaked it a little bit. I'll tell you why I tweaked it in a minute. So I'm going to stamp this one on an angle, and this one's going to be, the bottom's about 1/4 of an inch apart, okay? Because you know, tulips, they don't really grow, they can grow straight, but often like in a vase or something, they're like tilted out to the side, right? So it actually looks good if the tulips, it looks more natural if the tulips aren't all straight like soldiers. Okay, so now we're gonna take, there's 2 leaves. Oh, and I put my Granny Apple Green away. That's not good. There's 2 leaves, so you can turn and twist these ones because they've kind of got different shapes. So I just kind of start off down here at the bottom, and I'm going to kind of stamp next to this one. And then I'm going to fill in here. You really can't go too wrong with these. They're just pretty easy. The trick with this is to kind of do different heights so that they're not all the same heights. It looks a little bit more natural if you kind of do some at different heights and different angles a little bit. Okay, let me switch to this other one. And I'm going to come in and, oh, this one's going to come up a little bit like this. And we'll do one over here like this. So I'm kind of building up to the taller one. Now for the original card, they had a few that were up here, kind of halfway up the tulip. And I didn't really like that. I need this one, I think. I didn't like that because tulips tend to have all their greenery coming up from the base. They don't have leaves kind of sticking out halfway up the stem. So that's when I decided I needed to change it up a little bit and not do it exactly like that, because I just thought it looked wrong, you know. So I can throw this away now. So look Doesn't that look pretty? And two-step stamping is phenomenal because look, it took me what, a minute to stamp this little layout here. And can you imagine having to hand draw that? That was one of the things that attracted me to stamping right away, is like anyone can do it. I don't need to know how to draw. It's so easy. All right, so now I grabbed a piece of gray granite cardstock, and it measures the same as my Whisper White piece. So it's 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I'm going to glue this just a little off kilter like that. No, I want it off kilter the other direction. If I want to match the card I already have. Okay, so that's why you kind of set it out so you kind of know where you're going to go with it. I'm going to take some Tombow. Going to adhere the two together. Come on. Okay. And then I'm just going to come in. Okay, I'm going to stand up because it's better to get a bird's eye view for this. Okay. So can you see it's just a little hint peeking out. It's not something people are going to notice because it is a subtle detail, but it's going to add to the entire card. So you could decide not to do the layer, but I like it because it's very subtle. All right, let's get in the other pieces for the card that we need. I have a card base, and this base measures 11 by 4 1/4 and scored in half at the 5.5 inch mark. Then I took a piece of the In Good Taste paper. This one has like a marble background, but I love these tiles. They're kind of like stacked tiles, and they kind of have, I don't know, different depths coming to them. They look a little bit like bricks, but I think they're actually tiles. So I'm just going to add this to my card base. The paper measures 4 1/4 by 5.5. It's the same size as my card front. So I'm just going to add that. And what this paper does is it just adds a little interest to the background. I could have adhered this right onto the gray granite, but I like that looks so, you know, this could have been on here like that, right? Looks pretty, looks fine, but look, when you switch it over like this, it just looks so much better. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, when I glue this down, the white piece, the white layer is going to be straight, and the gray granite piece underneath is going to be crooked. That's how I deal with it. I need to know how to control the crookedness. So I just take this, and it took me a while to actually like putting something crooked. I still don't do it naturally, but I can copy something and do it when it's, you know, it's a makeover card. I can say, oh yeah, I can do that. But naturally, I probably would never make a card with a crooked layer underneath. I just don't do that. I don't know why, but it's just hard for me. But I can do it on a makeover card, and yes, that makes it good for me. I can get out of my comfort zone a little. And then I've got a little piece of purple posy. Why purple posy? I don't know. I do know that the original card had a layer of like a green or a blue. I'm trying to remember. It was, I think it was a blue layer. And I was like, so it needs to have a little bit of a contrasting layer. So that's why I chose purple posy, because it wasn't too different than the card, but it was just a little bit different. So I've got my little happy birthday. Oh, and what we need to do first, this layer starts off to be about 3 inches by 1/2 inch. And I'm going to take my triple banner punch, and I'm just going to nip a little V into the end of this. I'm not going all the way down. I'm just nipping a V. See, this is just kind of held underneath here, and I'm just holding it with my fingers. I'm just going to nip a little bit of the banner in there. Okay. But then I want to know exactly how long it's going to be. So I'll take my trimmer. And I'm just going to put this over on the 2 1/8 inch mark. That one of the little ends of the V's is going to be on the 2 1/8 inch mark. And then I'm just going to cut it. So now the banner lengthwise is 2 1/8 inches. All right, now I can stamp my happy birthday on here. Make sure it is the right direction. And hopefully that's somewhat straight. Yep. Okay. And then you just need to find a place on here to put your banner. So somewhere in this bottom section, you could put it lower if you wanted to, but I like it just about here. So then we just add it on here. And just make sure it's straight. And then finally, I'm just going to add some rhinestone jewels. And I'll take my Take Your Pick tool on the putty end. And I'm just going to pick off some jewels and add them to this card. How simple is that? That is like so easy. I love this Take Your Pick tool. I avoided using it for so long because I had gotten so used to using my paper piercing tool to pick up the jewels, but this is even easier. It's just like choo choo choo, and there it is. Done. Ta-da! Isn't that pretty? I love the original card, so why not give it a little bit of a makeover, right? You know, I don't always have to be completely original, right? So where's my original card? Where's the original card? I didn't make this card, but see, that's the original. And let me move this into the card, I think, and then see, there we go. I like my card better. Just because I Brendafied it and I controlled some things that I couldn't control before, but I love the colors. I love having multicolored tulips, and I love the neutral backdrop. I think the original card, the red was a little bit too much in the background for me. I would have wanted the focus to be on the red tulips, right? Like for me. But I love the layout. So yeah, this is a great way to just give it a little bit of a makeover. What did you think? Let's see. I'm going to go back and read some comments. Hello, Nancy. Karen says she loves wood grain paper. It is great. Wood grain paper is great because it's a neutral backdrop. And I think we, like, wood is like something our eyes are used to looking at in nature. So it's really, really good. Karen liked my tip about stamping the tulip heads first. Yes, absolutely. Do the tulip heads first because that way also you know your top space. You know where the top is. And then put everything in stems and then leaves filling in really easy. It's really easy to fill in leaves. Oh, you know what I was going to do, which I didn't do. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, so what I thought, the original card had a tulip popped out. So I thought maybe we could do that and see what it looked like, right? So let's bring back in crushed curry. And let me see which side. Okay, I need to stamp closer to this side. For alignment purposes, there's a tulip head and a leaf on the punch. So when you're stamping something, if you're just stamping one of them, if you stamp it on the left side, when you turn this over, you'll have an easier time aligning it and you won't be cutting out a leaf in the middle of your thing. So you can just, this is only for the largest tulip head. So you just align that and punch it. And then what you can do is take some dimensionals and I'm going to see what I think about that because I didn't have a chance to do that. But so then you can just add that onto there and create a dimensional tulip onto there. I kind of like that, you know. Kind of gives it a little bit of dimension, right? You can barely see it probably on camera. But in person, it makes this particular tulip pop a little bit. So let's just pop it right on there because I do like it. And I might have to do another one for my other card just to match it. There. But what I would absolutely do if I am doing this, I would absolutely still stamp the tulip first on the base and then stamp it again and do the punch shape. The reason you want to do that is it would be so hard to align it if you didn't have the shape underneath. This shape more than covers the actual tulip. So what, stamp your layout and then do exactly what I did at the end. And then it has, I don't know if you can kind of tell, but you can kind of see that that adds a little bit of dimension to there. Yep, that's what I forgot to do. Yes. I always forget to do something and then afterwards I'm like, shoot, I should have done that. But I didn't. Okay. All right. Good morning, Betty. Oh, Karen says she likes my card better. Thank you. I kind of endorsed myself too. Isn't that wonderful? But that's the great thing. And I do find this too. Like I'll do like one of my Hershey's tutorials, right? And someone will send me a picture of what they did with my Hershey's tutorial, like the latest one with the dog face. Someone will take the Hershey's puppy and they will do it and they will do a better job than me because like they have all the base tools, right? And I know that I did the design, but then they take it a step further than me and make it better. And I think that's sometimes what we do with cards. Like we look at the card and we go, oh, I could enhance this, and so it's, yeah. Anyway, yes, I like to brag about myself. Okay. Karen says, I wish tulips lasted longer in my garden. Yeah. I think that's why I like tulips is because they're like this super finicky flower, only comes up a bulb. They only comes up, one time in the year. And the smell is beautiful. And you have a few weeks, not even 2 weeks, and then they're gone. And that they're such a special flower in that way. And I also like the tulip fields, when you can see forever and ever. Okay. Oh, okay. So Amy had a struggle. So Amy was saying she struggles with putting on her paper her like another layer on top of her card base. So you know what I do? Sometimes like on camera I won't do this, but if I have to do like 30 cards or a lot of cards, you know what I do? I grab my scoring tool and let me grab it. So this is a very bad example, but because these are not the right size. But you put your card base at the top, and you can put adhesive on either one, but then you use this and you slide it in to the corner like this. And so then if these were both the same size, you have the edges as a guide to get them in place. And so especially if you're doing a lot of them, this can be a really great tool aligning. And sometimes like you can either do it like this or like this. You just need that, sorry, I went off camera. You can either use this way or you can do it this way. Just as long as you have those two sides of that corner, you can use it to align, and it really helps when you're doing it. And then with the crooked layer, crooked layers, I have trouble doing them, but that crooked layer was on purpose. So, okay. Thank you. I'm glad you like my card better too. I kind of made it so that you had to say that, but I thank you. I appreciate it. And I wouldn't actually mind if you like the other card better, honestly, because there's room in this world for all different styles, right? But I love, especially the fact I did not start out being an artist. I did not. I started off very, very low. I started off having, I think I've told this story before. I started off in Girl Guides and little brownies, and we were doing art projects. And I think I was doing knitting, and I was supposed to knit a square, and my square wasn't square. And they were looking at my little finished piece, trying to figure out what they could call it so I could still get my badge. And I overheard them talking, and I was like, yeah, I just don't have skills. And I don't think I completely gave up on crafting right then and there. I always had like the desire to craft. I just didn't have the skills, I didn't have the tools. And so now I'm just so lucky that I got this kind of second chance to be a crafty person and have skills. But it just goes to show you a lot of it is like practice, and a lot of it is having the right supplies and also having a mentor, having someone there that will, show you how to do something. That's so important. My mentor when I was stamping was my friend Valley. Shout out to Valley. She's probably not watching this video, but um, I was her customer for 3 years, customer and later friend for 3 years. And she spent a lot of time with me, helping me and telling me things. And then we became friends and we started sharing with each other. So we all need someone to kind of learn and have a mentor from. So I still learn from other people. So that's so very important. Okay, guys, I have chatted your ears off this morning. But if you need supplies, you know where to go down in the description of this video. I have a link to my blog, which has the pictures of the card I made today, the picture of the Facebook group card, and it has all the images you need. There's a supply list there. If you have any questions, just let me know. I am here for you. There's a contact thing down below. If you click on it, you can fill out a little form and have it sent to me, and I will answer your question, or just comment below. That will work as well. All right, guys, I hope you have a great week. I do have another project planned this week, and I think it's going to be with the tulip bundle again because I have not used it enough. So I have an idea in my head. I haven't had a chance to flush it out yet. I've been working on taxes all weekend, so I'm a little bit behind, but I'm almost done. So hopefully I will, by Friday, I should have a new tutorial up for you guys. Okay, guys, have a great week until then, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.